They will never understand the quiet ones. The world is trained to respect noise, people who boast, flaunt, and announce their every victory. But the ancients knew better. The masters of wealth, the architects of empires, the Medici bankers who controlled popes and kings, understood a deeper law. Power grows best in silence. Machiavelli himself warned that a ruler must be like a fox to recognize traps and like a lion to frighten wolves, but he also taught something more subtle. True influence is never loud, never exposed, never predictable. It hides beneath the surface like an undertow, moving worlds without being seen. You live in a society obsessed with appearances, yet appearances are the most dangerous territory to rule. When you show too much, you awaken envy. When you speak too much, you reveal strategy. And when you seek validation, you forfeit sovereignty. The Medici built a financial empire that controlled the pulse of Renaissance Europe. Yet to the public, they played the part of modest merchants. They understood a principle that modern people have forgotten. When your wealth fits in the shadows, your enemies swing their swords at ghosts. Quiet power requires discipline. You wake before the world stirs. You move your money before inflation devours it. You invest before you announce. You build skills before you display. You build networks before you speak. Every action is a brick in a fortress, invisible to the untrained eye. The loud boast of income, the wise build assets. The loud chase luxuries, the wise purchase freedom. The loud want admiration, the wise want leverage. In the art of war, Sun Tzu wrote that victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then seek victory. The meaning is timeless. Preparation is the source of triumph. Wealth is no different. Fortune is not captured by those who simply hustle. It is captured by those who calculate, observe, and advance like an army through fog, unseen, unstoppable, inevitable. You must build income streams that do not announce themselves, rental income that arrives silently, dividends that fall like snow, digital assets that work while you sleep. Companies structured through layers that keep you legally protected and financially flexible. You must learn the laws of money, taxes, trusts, compounding inflation, and the flow of capital. Every wealthy lineage in history mastered structure, because it is structure that protects a fortune from the chaos of time. If you wish to rise, you must first become invisible. Not unseen to the world, but unseen in intent. You do not brag about your moves. You do not warn your circle of your goals. You do not expose your plans to those who haven't built anything. You must learn to walk as a whisper in a world addicted to shouting. Remember this: your anonymity is your greatest armor. The public cannot destroy what it cannot find, but silence is not weakness. Silence is strategy. The wolf that moves quietly is not timid. It is calculating the exact moment to strike. When you speak less, you hear more. When you spend less, you invest more. When you seek less attention, you accumulate more advantage. You become the calm at the center of your own storm, the architect of a life built patiently, brick by subtle brick. And when the world finally notices, it will already be too late for them to catch up. Part 2. A man building quietly becomes a myth. People start asking where he came from, how he rose, why he never struggled publicly. But the truth is simpler. The quiet builder suffers in private, studies in private, invests in private, and evolves in private. While others chase applause, he chases mastery. While others spend their youth in distraction, he spends his in apprenticeship to the laws that govern power. You must think like a Renaissance strategist. Imagine your life as a developing city-state. Your income streams are your armies. Your savings are your walls. Your discipline is your general. Your patience is your timekeeper. Every unnecessary purchase weakens your defenses. Every ego-driven decision opens a gate in your fortress. Every financial habit either fortifies or sabotages the empire you are secretly constructing. This is why the wealthy stay low profile. The higher your walls, the less the world sees what you protect. When you reveal nothing, no one knows what to attack. When your lifestyle does not betray your net worth, you pass through society like a ghost. And ghosts cannot be targeted. Quiet wealth requires a deep psychological shift. You stop performing for the world. You stop explaining your moves. You stop living through the eyes of others. The investor sees further than the consumer. The architect sees further than the tourist. Long-term thinking becomes your weapon. You think in decades while others think in weekends. You see the future as territory, and you begin to claim it bit by bit. Move your money out of dying currencies. Inflation is an invisible thief, stealing from the naive and the unprepared. The Medici did not hold gold. They moved it, multiplied it, and hid it behind financial complexity that protected them from the storms of kingdoms, rising and falling. You must learn the same. Diversify, distribute, defend. Place your wealth in assets that outrun decay. Money sitting still is money being eaten. Money in motion is money becoming an army. And above all, control your image. The greatest mistake of modern wealth seekers is the public display of minor victories. A new car, a designer shirt, a flashy lifestyle. These are signals that you seek validation, not power. The elites understand the opposite rule. When you are truly wealthy, you have nothing to prove. Wealth whispers. Insecurity shouts. Your goal is not to be admired. Your goal is to be untouchable. You want influence that is not traceable, freedom that is not dependent, stability that is not fragile. You want to move through life with the calm confidence of someone who has engineered his reality stone by stone without needing the world's permission or applause. This is the hidden law. The less you reveal, the more powerful you become. Build multiple silent empires. Let your investments speak in compound interest. Let your patience speak in decades of growth. Let your discipline speak in your results. And let your silence be mistaken for modesty, even as you rise far beyond the reach of those who once doubted you. Remember this, the world worships noise, but wealth, real wealth, belongs to the quiet. If you're ready for the next step, watch the next video and subscribe for more hidden strategies the elites would rather you never learn. A man who builds quietly becomes a distortion in the eyes of the world. People start crafting myths about him because the human mind cannot comprehend growth that happened without an audience. They see the results, but not the rituals. They see the wealth, but not the wounds. They see the man, but not the monastery he built inside himself. Quiet builders are misunderstood because they violate the modern rhythm of constant noise, constant exposure, constant self-advertisement. But the Medici did the same. They grew their fortune behind closed doors, behind intricate ledgers, behind trust companies and merchant alliances that did not announce themselves. They mastered the art of being underestimated, an art lost to most people today. If you wish to rise, you must embrace a mindset that feels almost monastic. Your wealth building becomes a discipline, not a display. You no longer treat money as something to perform with. It becomes a weapon, a shield, a tool of sovereignty. Every dollar is a soldier. Every investment is a territory. Every skill is a fortification. You are not playing the game others play. You are building an empire in the shadows while they compete for attention in the light. Imagine your life as a sovereign city-state. Each income stream is an army division, diversified, resilient, and trained for specific missions. Rental income fights inflation. Dividends fight time, digital assets fight geographical limits, skill-based income fights uncertainty, and long-term investments defend your future borders. But armies must be supported. Your savings are your supply lines. Your legal structures are your walls. Your discipline is your general. Your patience is your silent king. You begin to accept the rule that every show of wealth has a hidden cost. Display invites envy. Envy invites sabotage. Exposure invites curiosity. And curiosity invites intrusion. This is why true elites hide in plain sight. They drive ordinary cars, wear ordinary clothes, and live in homes that do not announce the magnitude of their assets. Their power does not depend on being seen, and that is why it endures. Slowly, you detach from the psychological cage of performance. You stop proving yourself. You stop competing with people who are not even playing your game. You learn that a quiet mind is a strategic mind. A quiet life is a controlled life. And a controlled life is fertile ground for wealth. Inflation, taxes, economic cycles, these are enemies that most people underestimate until they are already wounded. But a strategist studies patterns. You move your wealth before inflation corrodes it, placing it in assets that appreciate while the currency decays. You diversify before storms arrive. You build buffers before emergencies hit. You protect your future self the way ancient generals protected their capital city, with foresight, vigilance, and structured strength. And beneath all this, beneath the legal structures, investment strategies, cash flow systems, and silent multipliers, there is a deeper transformation. You stop living in reaction, and you begin living in intention. Your life becomes a blueprint, a map, a plan. One day, when your fortress is complete, when your income streams flow without your effort, when your financial armies march autonomously, you will realize something profound. The world never needed to know what you were building. Power does not require permission. Wealth does not require applause. Legacy does not require noise. But you are only halfway through the doctrine. To understand the final evolution of silent power, you must enter a deeper chamber, one taught by the hidden aristocracies of history. There comes a moment in every quiet builder's journey when wealth stops being the goal and becomes the medium. The Medici did not gather gold for pleasure. They gathered it for leverage, for influence, for the ability to shape the world without ever standing on a podium. This is the final doctrine. Wealth is not for display. Wealth is for direction. And once you reach this realization, you step into a different tier of strategy, one where your power moves like wind, felt but rarely seen. You begin to understand that money is only the first layer of an invisible empire. The second layer is structure. The third is influence. The fourth is legacy. Anyone can make money. Few can structure it. Fewer can protect it. And almost none can expand it across generations. But this is what the quiet elite master. They turn wealth into something that outlives them. Something that becomes a shield for those who come after. Something that cannot be erased by chaos or time. To build this, you must begin thinking in systems instead of moments. You set up trusts, corporations, partnerships, and layered entities that convert your financial life from a target into a labyrinth. Complexity becomes your armor. Simplicity remains your lifestyle. You walk the world lightly, but your foundations are heavy and unshakable. Quiet empire building requires a new form of vision. You must learn to see opportunities the way generals see battlefield openings, small, fleeting moments where decisive moves create massive advantage. You watch industries rise before the crowd notices. You recognize the early signs of inflation before prices explode. You observe global shifts, technology, demographics, politics, and position yourself not reactively, but strategically. The wealthiest families in history always moved early, moved intelligently, and moved without spectacle. Then comes the psychology. The most powerful form of wealth is not financial. It is emotional. A man who is unbothered, unshaken, and unattached cannot be manipulated. And this is where the quiet path surpasses the loud one. When you detach from showing your success, you free yourself from the mental slavery of comparison. You no longer need to prove what you already know. And in that silence, you grow faster than the world can measure. Your habits become your hidden rituals. You save automatically. You invest consistently. You study relentlessly. You build networks with the same subtlety as merchants of old. Favor trading, small alliances, reciprocal value exchanges. You learn that influence grows like roots rather than branches, slowly underground, silently connecting you to resources, opportunities, and power centers that the average person never sees. But the doctrine demands more. It requires patience so deep, it feels like prophecy. To build an invisible empire, you must be willing to delay praise for years. You must be willing to let the world underestimate you. You must be willing to expand in the shadows brick by brick, knowing that real prestige comes not from being seen, but from being untouchable. And one day, without ever announcing anything, you will notice that the game has inverted. You no longer chase opportunities. Opportunities gravitate toward you. You no longer seek wealth. Your systems generate it. You no longer fear uncertainty. Your fortress is built for storms. You become the kind of person who could lose everything and rebuild it. Because the true empire is not what you own. It's what you know, what you've become, and the strategic mind you've forged in silence. This is the hidden law that the elites understand. Power belongs not to the loudest voice, but to the quietest mind with the deepest preparation. Wealth belongs not to the showman, but to the strategist. Freedom belongs not to the one admired, but to the one unobserved. And from this silence, you arise. You become a force shaped not by the crowd, but by your own design. An invisible empire with foundations stronger than the world's opinions. A sovereign architect carving a future that no one else controls. Your path is not common. It is not glamorous. It is not loud. But it is the path of every dynasty that has ever endured. If you're ready for more hidden strategies, deeper, sharper, more dangerous to the old version of you, then watch the next video and subscribe. Your training continues there.